Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Anne and today I'm going to do the Do I Have That Book challenge. I just now realized I haven't looked up who the creator of this tag is, but I'll put the name on the screen and I'll link their video down below as well. Sorry. This is a challenge that consists of 20 questions. It works best if you haven't seen the questions beforehand, I believe, but I have seen a couple of videos of people doing this challenge, so I do know some of the questions. But the idea is that there's a question. For example, the first question is, do you have a book with deckled edges? And then you check your books to see if you have one. And then you get a point for that question, I guess. Like I said, there's 20 of them, so we'll see how many of these I actually get and what my points are at the end. I have the questions on my phone, so let's get started. Like I said, the first question is, do you have a book with deckled edges? And I know that yes, I do have a book with deckled edges. It's this one, The New York Trilogy by Paul Auster, one of my favorite books, and I actually wrote my bachelor thesis on this one. And like you can see, it has deckled edges. I'm still not sure what I think of the whole concept of deckled edges. I like it in this instance because the entire idea of this look for the book is that the book is a little worn down and old already, which fits with the story itself. So for this book I like it, but I don't think I like it much for some random book for which it doesn't really have a purpose, I guess, because it does look a little sloppy and I don't like it a lot while reading. So yeah, the New York Trilogy. So question number 2. Do you have a book with 3 or more people on the cover? I'm not sure. Let's take a look. Yes, I do. The Inexplicable Logic of My Life by Benjamin Alira-Sanz has exactly 3 people on the cover. I adore Benjamin Alira-Sanz. One of his other books, and his best known book I think, is Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe, and that's one of my favorite books, and I'm actually getting the urge to reread it again, so maybe I'll do that soon. But this one is really wonderful as well, and this is actually the first book in years that made me cry. Question number 3. Do you have a book based on another fictional story? I must have, but nothing springs to mind right away, so I'll take a look. Of course. Heartless by Marissa Meyer. I haven't read this one yet, it's been on my shelves for ages and I keep meaning to read it, but other books somehow take priority. But this book is about the Queen of Hearts, which is one of the characters in Alice in Wonderland, or Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. I had to think of the name there. So the idea is, long before Alice fell down the rabbit hole and before the roses were painted red, the Queen of Hearts was just a girl in love for the first time. So yeah, this is definitely based on another fictional story. 3 for 3. Things are going well. Question number 4. Do you have a book with a title 10 letters long? Exactly 10 letters. Yikes. Okay, this is probably going to take a little while, so bear with me. That actually didn't take that long. So, a title that's exactly 10 letters. I have Stars Above by another one by Marissa Meyer, I just realized. This is part of the Lunar Chronicles. It's not really one of the 4 books in the series, but it is a collection of Lunar Chronicles stories. So it's part of the Lunar Chronicles universe, and it has some prequel stories to how these characters got to where they were before their stories actually started. If you like the Lunar Chronicles, this is definitely a fun collection. The stories are fun. I do think they aren't really necessary to the story of the Lunar Chronicles, but I enjoyed them because I loved the characters so much already. Question number 5. Do you have a book with a title that starts and ends with the same letter? Let's look. 6 of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. It starts and ends with an S. This is a very popular duology that's part of the Grisha universe, just like the Shadow and Bone trilogy. It's about criminal prodigy Cass Brecker, who lands a job basically that will make him very, very rich, and he gathers a crew and they try to pull off this heist. It says 6 dangerous outcasts, 1 impossible heist. I've read this duology and I loved it so much. I gave both of the books 5 stars. What I love most about it is the characters, but also the high stakes and the pace in which this story is told. Just so much happens all the time, especially in the second book. So yeah, love this book, and I love that it helps me out with one of these questions. Question number 6. Do you have a Mass Market Paperback book? I probably do, but I'm not really that sure on the exact definition of a Mass Market Paperback. Is it just the small paperbacks? Or bigger paperbacks as well? Is it just the cheaply made paperbacks? I don't know. But I'll just find one. I think my copy of One Day by David Nichols probably counts as a Mass Market Paperback. It's pretty small. It has very thin paper and the font is very tiny. So yeah, this counts, I guess, but I've got many more because I only got a handful of hardbacks. I mostly buy paperbacks, and if it's a book that I'm not really that excited about, or I know that I don't really want in a beautiful edition or something, I sometimes go for the cheaper options, like this one. Although I do take a look at the font these days because I'm not really that fond of reading these small letters. That just makes my eyes tired, and my eyes get tired very quickly. So yeah, not a big fan of that. Question number 7. Do you have a book written by an author using a pen name? If you hear squeaking in the background, that's my guinea pigs. They've just woken up, I guess, because I've been filming and they tend to get noisy. But yeah, a book with a pen name. Well, this is a very obvious one, but The Cuckoo's Calling by Robert Galbraith. Robert Galbraith is J.K. Rowling, for those of you who did not know. She writes this detective series about Cormoran Strike under the name of Robert Galbraith, and at first nobody knew about it and everyone was just in awe of this new writer who suddenly appeared out of nowhere. But then someone leaked it and everyone knew it was J.K. Rowling, and now she just rolls with it, I guess. But yeah, I really like these books. I've read all 4 that are out now. They're just really exciting and suspenseful, and I think she's an excellent detective writer. Question number 8. Do you have a book with a character's name in the title? Well, the entire Lunar Chronicles, I guess, but since I've already named 2 Marissa Meyer books, I'm going to look for another one now. I found one. I could have gone for Harry Potter as well, I realized. All of these are Harry Potter, but that's a little easy as well. So I've gone for Strange the Dreamer. The main character of this book is actually Laszlo Strange, so he's got his name in the title. This is probably also one of the prettiest books I own, along with the sequel, Muse of Nightmares. I love looking at it. And also one of the few hardbacks I own. But I absolutely adored this story. I liked the sequel as well, but not as much as this one. It's all about dreams and a forgotten city and all kinds of strange things going on with mythology-like things, and I'm not explaining it very well, but I think most people will already be familiar with this book because a lot of people love it, a lot of people are kind of meh about it as well, but it's been around on BookTube for a while now. Question number 9. Do you have a book with 2 maps in it? Yes, I do. But then I will have to go for Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom again, which is kind of boring because I've already mentioned that one. Ooh, of course, there's Lord of the Rings. I think I'm going for The Hobbit. Pretty sure this one has 2 maps. One in the front, one in the back, I guess? Yes. In the front we have this map. I've forgotten what this is a map of. I guess the Desolation of Smaug is here. The Lonely Mountain. And then in the back we have another map, Wilderland, I guess. I'm not sure. I read this book last year and I've already forgotten what these maps are exactly. I'm reading The Lord of the Rings right now, which has different maps. Maybe that's why I'm confused. So yeah, The Hobbit for this one. Question number 10. Do you have a book that was turned into a TV show? Yes, I do. The Robert Galbraith book I just showed you was turned into a TV show, but that's a little easy again, so I'm going to take a look to see if I have another one. I've got Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. This was turned into a BBC miniseries years ago. Everybody loves that series, I think. I also could have gone for some of the other Jane Austen books, I think, because a lot of them have been turned into miniseries. I think this is the only one I've actually seen. So yeah, that was a pretty easy one. So now we're halfway through the questions and we're 10 for 10. This This is going pretty well. Let's move on to question 11. Do you have a book written by someone who is originally famous for something else, like a celebrity, athlete, politician, TV personality, etc.? Yes, I do. This isn't a novel, so perhaps this is cheating a bit, I guess, but it wasn't specified that it should be a novel, so I'm just going with Talking as Fast as I Can by Lauren Graham. Lauren Graham plays Lorelai Gilmore in Gilmore Girls, and she wrote a book about her experience with Gilmore Girls, but also just her life as an actor in general. It says here, from Gilmore Girls to Gilmore Girls and everything in between. So the original Gilmore Girls and the revival on Netflix. I absolutely love this book. I wasn't expecting to love it that much because it's a celebrity writing a book. I figured, how good can it be? I don't read a lot of those books, but she had some excellent writing advice as well, and I loved reading about her experience on Gilmore Girls, which is one of my favorite TV shows ever. Question number 12. Do you have a book with a clock on the cover? I have no idea, so this might take a little bit of time. I'll take a look. I must have a book with a clock on the cover, but do I really have to search through all of them? Aha! I found one. Almost Midnight by Rainbow Rowell. It has a clock right here, and when I thought about it, it's pretty obvious that this has a clock because it's two festive short stories and one of them is about New Year, hence the name Almost Midnight. Wow, I thought this was going to take a lot longer. So, question number 13. Do you have a poetry book? Yes, I do. I don't really own that many of them because I'm not a huge fan of poetry, but I did study English literature, so I did have to read some poetry, and there is some poetry I do like. This is a very small book of poetry. It's The Night is Darkening Round Me by Emily Bronte. Emily Bronte is one of my favorite authors. Wuthering Heights is one of my favorite books, and I read these poems and I'm not really sure what I thought of them. I think I liked them. I do also think I thought they were pretty dark, but yeah, that's Emily Bronte for you. The back says Bronte's most passionate, powerful poems on death, nature's beauty and the passage of time. So yeah, sounds like poetry. Question number 14. Do you have a book with an award stamp on it? Do I ever? Award stamps are the bane of my existence. Here we have it. I know I've already mentioned Benjamin Alira's Sands before, but I'm always so annoyed by this. This is one of my favorite books, Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe, and it's full of award stamps. I hate it. I hate it. And you can't get this book without those award stamps. Why not just stick them on there with a sticker, and I'll have a frustrating time taking them off, but at least I will be able to take them off. These are just printed on there and I don't see why. This cover would have been so beautiful if it hadn't been for those stupid bloody award stamps. Question number 15. Do you have a book written by an author with the same initials as you? This is one of the questions I remembered from other people's videos, and I was thinking about this and I thought, I don't have a book written by an author with the initials A.K. And then I talked to my boyfriend about this yesterday and he said, aren't you reading a book by Amy Kaufman right now? Yep, I am. I'm reading Aurora Rising. I'm not liking it, by the way. Expect a review on that. So yeah. Here's Illuminae by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. So AK, which is me. Not Amy Kaufman, but those initials are mine as well. Loved Illuminae. This is one of my favorite series. Which is why it's pretty disappointing to me that I don't like Aurora Rising. I think that might have been the most difficult one, the initials one. I've got that one, so are we going to go 20 for 20? We'll see. Question number 16. Do you have a book of short stories? Yes, I have multiple of those as well. But I'll go for Her Body and Other Parties by Carmen Maria Machado. I'm so sorry, I have no idea how to pronounce this. But I haven't read this one yet. But I really want to, and I was actually hoping to get to it in the first half of 2019, but obviously I failed at that. This is her debut, It's called an electrifying debut here on the back, and it demolishes the borders between psychological realism and science fiction, comedy and horror, fantasy and fabulism. Here are 8 startling stories that map the realities of women's lives and the violence visited upon their bodies. Earthy and otherworldly, antic and sexy, queer and caustic, comic and deadly serious, her body and other parties enlarges the possibilities of contemporary fiction. This sounds hella exciting to me, so I really want to pick this up soon. I probably won't get to it until at least September because of the magical readathon happening in August and my TBR for July. But I really want to read this. Question number 17. Ooh, this might be a difficult one as well. Do you have a book that is between 500 and 510 pages long? We're going on a search again. I found one, but it's one of the Lunar Chronicles again. So I'm going to see if I can find another one, but I won't have to fail this question. Okay, I'm not going to look for another one because that's just too much work. Scarlet by Marissa Meyer, another one of the Lunar Chronicles, is 505 pages long. Question number 18. Do you have a book that was turned into a movie? Well, yeah, of course. I'm going to show you 2 because there are 2 I want to talk about. I've got To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han. This is a much beloved series in BookTube and the bookish community. I gave this book 3 stars, but I absolutely adored the film. It's on Netflix. I think most of the bookish community will have seen it by now, at least the people who read YA. It's absolutely wonderful, and I think the film is actually quite a lot better than the book. I like Peter Kavinsky in the film, love Peter Kavinsky in the film, but I don't like Peter Kavinsky in the books. I think he's a bit of an asshole, to be honest. So yeah, this one. And then I also just want to quickly mention the Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society, which was one of my favorite books I read last year. It consists of letters, the entire novel, which is not something I'm usually very fond of. I don't really like epistolary novels, I thought, but then I started reading this and it completely sucked me in and I absolutely loved it. It's about a writer in 1946, so just after the Second World War has ended, and she receives a letter from a stranger, a founding member of the Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society. And so begins a remarkable tale of the island of Guernsey during the German occupation and of a society as extraordinary as its name. This was really wonderful, and it's been turned into a movie, which came out last year, I think, but I really didn't like the film. It just made the story seem average and unremarkable. It just made me a little sad that they didn't try harder to really make something out of this story, because it was definitely possible. Okay, so question 19. Do you have a graphic novel? Yes, I do. All of these are graphic novels, but I'll just quickly show you one, I guess. There are some I've already talked about quite a lot on this channel, so I'll go for one I haven't talked about, which is Nimona by Noelle Stevenson. I read somewhere that this is actually being turned into a film, so that's exciting. This is about sidekick and supervillain Nimona and Lord Blackheart, and they are about to wreak some serious havoc. Their mission: prove to the kingdom that Sir Ambrosius Goldenloin and his buddies at the Institution of Law Enforcement and Heroics aren't the heroes everyone thinks they are. It's just a really fun graphic novel, and I'm really excited to see what they do with the film. I read this a while ago and I must say I don't remember that much of it. It didn't blow my mind, but it really was a fun read. And now we have come to the last question. Question number 20. Do you have a book written by 2 or more authors? Well, I could go for Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff again, so I do have an answer for this, which means I had an answer for all of these questions, which is exciting. But I'll just quickly look to see if any of my other books fit this question as well. Found one. This is Goodnight Stories for Rebel Girls by Elena Favilli and Francesca Cavallo. Goodnight Stories for Rebel Girls is basically what the title says. It reinvents fairy tales, inspiring children with the stories of 100 heroic women, from Elizabeth I to Serena Williams. This was such a fun read. I actually read most of these stories before bed as well, which was perfect, and it features so many different people, from women we know today, like Simone Biles, and I think Michelle Obama is in here as well, to Ruth Bader Ginsburg, love her. Rosa Parks is in here, Nina Simone, but also people who go way, way back. I think Cleopatra is in here as well. So those were all the 20 questions. I managed to find a book for each and every one of them, which is cool. I'm not going to tag anyone because I don't know who to tag. But if you want to do this tag or this challenge, then consider yourself tagged by me. Let me know if you've read any of the books I mentioned in this video, and please like if you like this video and subscribe if you want to see more of me, and have a wonderful day. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!